Blog Talk Radio.
Well, hello from my heart, everybody. This is Reverend Susan Sabella Marsh, also known as Rock and Roll Reverend Sue. And tonight I would like to tell everybody about an upcoming meeting for my Port Richey resident friends. It's going to be at Rum River, which, of course, as you know, is attached to Catches, right on the water. It's going to be Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And it's going to be, the address is 7811 Bayview Street, Port Richey, Florida. So I just wanted to remind everybody first of that meeting. So it starts at 5:30. I thought it started at 6, but it's actually 5:30. And I was speaking with a couple of concerned residents about the proposed high-rise buildings, the condos that are going to be built in that general area. And even though, it's great for housing, it would really impact the people living in the area. I'm all for commerce and building things up, but, this is really going to negatively, in my opinion, impact the surrounding area. You have Gill Dogs, which has just received the Legacy Award from Florida Sports Coast. That property would be sold, and then Seaside, and I believe there's more property too. And, to me, that's kind of like, it's really taking away the charm of Port Richey, because there's a lot of people that come and visit. We have a lot of snowbirds. We have a lot of people that come here and bring commerce to the area. And these are one-of-a-kind places, especially Gill Dogs, where there's kayaking, there's live entertainment, great food, and even sunset cruises. So that would definitely impact it. And it's been brought to my attention by someone I had just met today. We were texting a bit, that, it is their private property and it's their right to sell it, which, and they have served the community for a long, long time. So, I can respect that. But darn, I would definitely miss that place, let me tell you. It's really a gem. Really all of Port Richey is a gem. I'm very fortunate and blessed to live here, as I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way too. Just a lot of original places, mom and pop shops that, in my opinion, should not be replaced. I believe that there's other places that I think the high-rise would do well, but, to take out, the very heart of Port Richey, I just don't think it's the greatest idea. But, that's what these meetings here are for, to voice our opinions and be heard. If anything, it's nice to be heard. So definitely head on down to Rum River tomorrow and voice your opinion. And I'm going to share with you some of that text that I had received. Now, there's other issues going on, too, that I promised to bring up. The waterfront area could use improvements, and the city should go ahead and implement the infrastructure improvements voted on and discussed by the city council. And now, according to someone who remains anonymous. They were concerned citizens of Port Richey. They have issues with is the developer who wants the city to change city codes with no restrictions and only giving their quote-unquote vision for development of the area. An example is the request to change the density codes from 15 to 60 apartment units per acre and approve an increase of building height to 110 feet or 10 stories. And, I tend to agree that's not, that would not work in Port Richey. And another thing that my new friend had mentioned is one question they would want to raise is why the city of Port Richey is paying an outside firm to get public input as to what this development should look like. And if public opinion is needed, there should be a public vote if these changes should take place or not. And those are not the only issues, apparently, that have been posed in the city council meetings recently. There are additionally more recent issues to consider. Now, like I mentioned earlier, all of us are not opposed to changes and development in the waterfront. We want to see Port Richey, do well, but, we would like to see the developers adhere to our city established building codes. This will keep our old Florida atmosphere as well as help our area maintain water quality within our bayou. And I'm super appreciative that I heard from this resident, and and also in addition to that, those issues and more were brought out in multiple meetings. A few of the questions raised were, can our water supply support another 600 to 1,000 residents? And our infrastructure on sewer and water pipes are old and having issues now, without having that added stress right now. There are a certain number of homes with lead water pipes on the east side of Port Richey. Why are we not focusing to resolve this as soon as possible? And high-rise apartments will need a ladder truck, from the fire department. A ladder truck would not fit in its current fire department building, so a new fire station would be needed as well. And the city council is considering moving our emergency dispatch to the county. We are unique that we are one of the few towns that handle their own dispatch. So very good points that were brought up. And, these will be touched upon on Wednesday, like I mentioned before, at Rum Runners, which is attached to Catches on the Water. And, I would definitely turn up all residents that are concerned about this. I've mentioned a few times, we don't mind Port Richey being built up a little bit, but, you don't really want to take away from the originality, the pristine, the waterways, the residents there that, if we were to build this high-rise, they would have to deal directly with the traffic. Someone I've spoken with had told me they lived on the corner of Old Post Road, and, that area is already, it can get very congested. And as a resident there, I would be concerned too, bringing in an extra 1,000 people there. And, I bet you dollars to donuts that a lot of these people would, be in these high-rise apartments, and they would stay there maybe 6 months out of the year because maybe it's snowbirds, and maybe Airbnb it. That was brought up by Natalie, my new friend that I had met at the meeting. I just went to my first meeting, and, it was great because, you get to be heard, you get to voice your opinion, and it's worth it to show up there. And also, well, if you can't be there for the meetings at the City of Port Richey on Ridge Road, they do have on YouTube their own channel, and you can watch live and recorded, previously recorded meetings, so you don't miss anything. So that I learned at the last meeting too. So I thought it was pretty neat. But I just wanted to remind everybody once again about the upcoming meeting and voice your opinions. And, I mentioned some of the concerns that people brought up to me, and I'm very glad that they did. This is a wonderful town to live in. It's one of those Floridian towns that really are a gem, really a hidden treasure if you ask me. We have Sims Park, which is beautiful. We have our waterways right where Rum River catches, Hooters, Seaside, and Seaside, they had just rebuilt everything there at the restaurant, and I'm very surprised that, I heard that they closed. I don't know for sure, but these are original Floridian mom and pop places, and I would just hate to see that go. It's what makes up the charm of Port Richey. Just being able to dine on the water and listen to live music, and that brings in so much tourism dollars that would really help Port Richey. So once again, I just wanted to remind everybody, come to Rum River, which is attached to Catches, once again, and be there at 5:30. The meeting's from 5:30 to 7:30, and everybody will meet there and talk about what's on their mind and the zoning and these proposed high-rise apartments that are coming there. So be there or be square, and hope to see you. Many blessings, everyone, and have a good night.